A few months ago, I reviewed the NVG50, a digital night vision device that I bought to use for airsoft, and I quickly fell in love with it. I ended up using it a lot over the past year. It's a really cool device. But now there is a new NVG50, a step up from the 30. So in this video, we're going to do a review of the new NVG50. We'll take a look at what's been upgraded, compare the two side by side, and I'll give my final thoughts at the end. Now I do have a few things to mention before we get into this. First, a quick disclaimer: unlike the NVG30 where I paid for it with my own money, this NVG50 was sent out to me from Good Nite Gear to review, so a huge thank you to them. But just like last time, I'm going to be completely honest about it. Also, if you do decide to get it, please use code TONIC, T0NIK, for 10% off. It would help the channel a ton and I would really appreciate it. Lastly, I will show footage directly from the device. It can record video and audio, but keep in mind that this is a monocular device with a really small screen, so the footage might look kind of blurry, grainy, and sometimes darker than it really is, but when you look through it, it looks way better. It looks more like this. So here is the NVG50. Now I have already opened this up and set it up, but this is pretty much everything that you're going to get. You'll get this stuff sack. You also do get the device itself. It does come with a lens cover, which is nice. And then inside of this white box here, you have a few other accessories. So we have a wall plug, microfiber cloth, an extra eye cup. Then here we have a charger for the batteries, a cable, and a dovetail adapter. You also get this helmet mount. This does come in the box. I just already put out my helmet, but it's really nice. It is all metal, and you mount the device like this, then just tighten everything down. So when you buy the unit, you'll get pretty much everything you need to mount and operate the device. So that's really nice. You don't have to buy anything extra. So here is the NVG50. It's about the same size as the NVG30. It's actually just a little bit smaller, but right away I noticed a big difference with how it feels. The NVG50 just feels more durable, the buttons feel better, the housing itself feels more metallic and a little thicker. And one of the big differences between the NVG50 and the 30 is the battery. The NVG30 takes a single 18650 battery, and the NVG50 takes two 18350s. I haven't noticed any major differences in runtime. These things will go for a few hours before getting low battery. And one cool thing about the NVG50 is that you can run a proprietary power bank with it. You can put that on the back of your helmet or something and use that for a counterweight, and then that will extend the runtime. I don't have that, so I'm not sure how it is, but it does seem pretty cool. On the other side, you have the buttons, the power and record button, the IR button, and the zoom button. The controls are very similar to the NVG30, and above that we have this little plastic thing to keep the elements out. And on that topic, the NVG50 has a water resistance rating of IPX7. That is better than the NVG30, and I've played with the 30 out in the rain a few times without an issue, so this is even better. But in here we have a micro SD slot and a charging port. And closing this back up, we have the IR illuminator on the front, and you can focus the device by twisting the front and the back. And if you're like me and you want to use this for airsoft, the front is compatible with a normal PVS-14 sacrificial lens cover. You put this on to protect the lens from BBs, and it is also compatible with the wide-angle lens mod that they sell on the website. This will increase the field of view quite a bit. It's actually really nice, and I do recommend this as your first upgrade. You will notice a difference right away. Now, getting into the mount, I was bummed to find that this won't work with my normal Wilcox mount. This is what I use with my NVG30, and it's been great. But holding the two side by side, you can see that the NVG50 eyepiece is much lower. That's due to the batteries being on top of the device instead of below it. So if you try and bridge the two, it's just not going to work with this mount. I've tried a ton of stuff, and so far the only thing that has worked is a mount that I 3D printed. I'll throw a picture up on screen. It's not perfect by any means, and I'm still trying to figure it out, but it sort of works. So if you want to use a single NVG50, you will have to use the mount that it comes with for now. It's actually pretty nice once you get it set up. It's metal, it's durable, it doesn't move too much. Now sometimes if you are crawling through the bushes or if you bump into a wall, it could move a little bit, but you can just reach up and fix it quick. It's not that bad. And if you really tighten this thing down, it won't happen that often. And if you want to get two NVG50s and run binos, they do sell a bridge that works on the website. And you can also mount this on a rifle. The mount does come with a device, and it's really sturdy. Now, you can't zero it, but you can place it behind an optic that is zeroed and use it like that. And I found that if you have a tracer unit, you can just follow the BBs to aim. It's actually pretty fun. But personally, I like having the device mounted on my helmet. So that just about covers the basics, but now let's get into the comparison. This is how it looks to the naked eye. You can only see some lights in the distance. And here's how it looks through night vision. On the left we have the NVG30, and on the right we have the NVG50, and I'm not using any IR light for this. And as you can see, the performance is very similar. It's not a perfect test because I didn't have them mounted in the same spot. I was holding each unit with my hands. But there's honestly not a huge difference in performance between the two, and you can't really tell from the footage. but when you are looking through it, the NVG50 just looks better, and that's because the NVG50 has a higher resolution screen. The NVG30 has a 1920 by 1080 OLED screen, and the NVG50 has a 2560 by 1440 OLED screen. The difference is very noticeable in person. The image looks really crispy on the NVG50. Here's another comparison on a brighter night. Now, I live up north and we get a lot of snow, and some of our nights are very bright because of it. The moonlight bounces off the snow. It was around 10:30 at night when I recorded this footage. Now, looking back at the footage, I must have turned the focus on the NVG50 a bit when I took it out of my pocket. It is a little out of focus, so it looks more blurry. But when you see the edge of the gazebo here, it looks better on the 50, so it must have turned the focus towards near objects. Usually you will want it somewhere in the middle. But again, the performance is about the same. Both devices do great, and both are at 40 FPS. As far as the built-in IR illuminator goes, again, it's about the same as the NVG30. I find that I don't have to use it that often with these devices. They do great with no IR. Sometimes on dark nights when I'm walking around my property or just messing around, I'll use it. But when playing Airsoft, I never use it because it will give you away. And now that I have two devices, I can't show what IR looks like to other night vision users. I've had a ton of people ask what it looks like to other people with night vision. So here's what it looks like. This footage is from the 50 and I have the 30 in my hand. And I placed my night vision down and just walked around with the IR light on. And as you can see, you just look like a lighthouse. Now again, IR is not visible to the naked eye. So if you are playing against people without night vision, it's fine. But under night vision, you will stand out. Even when I go behind these trees, you can definitely tell that someone is there. So try not to use IR when playing against other night vision users. But like I said earlier, these devices do great with no IR. I hardly ever have to use it. There are also 4 different colors that you can cycle through: green, white phosphor, black and white, and color mode. And one last thing when comparing the two units, both have a zoom function, but due to the higher resolution screen, the zoom function on the NVG50 is a bit better. When zooming in, that higher resolution comes into play, and the image is more clear. Now sadly, due to the winter, all of the outdoor airsoft fields closed for a few months up here. We get too much snow and most of the time it's just too cold to play. We had a few days in the negatives recently. Actually, when I recorded some of the footage for this video, I think it was -2 degrees Fahrenheit. And the device worked great, so it does perform well in cold temperatures. I even dropped it in the snow a few times and it was fine. But I can't provide any gameplay footage from the NVG50. In a few weeks here, the game should start back up and I will post some NVG50 gameplay, so keep an eye out for that. But you can expect similar results to the NVG30, if not better results. This footage here is from the summer with the NVG30. I played a ton of games with it. It's been shot, dropped, bounced off walls, and it's just been great. So I'm really excited to get out there and play with the NVG50. It feels more durable, and the new screen and waterproofing will be really nice for Airsoft. So overall, the NVG50 is a solid upgrade over the NVG30. I really like it. The screen is better, it feels more durable, it's more waterproof. But I will say, if you have an NVG30, I wouldn't worry too much about upgrading. The performance is very similar. It's more so just a lot of little quality of life updates. But if you don't have either device and you are wondering what one to get, I would go with the 50. Digital night vision just keeps improving. I was really impressed with this unit. Now, I've looked through PVS-14s before, I've looked through real binos before. Recently I had the chance to look through a set of really nice white phosphorus binos that had the thermal clip-on thing, and it was really cool, but for the price, these devices are amazing. The NVG30 is $445 or $400 with code TONIC, and the 50 is $550 or $495 with code TONIC. Sure, it is still pricey, but when compared to a PVS-14, it's really cheap. A decent PVS-14 will run you well over $1,000, maybe $1,500 to over $2,000 for a nice one. These are way less expensive and they are more than enough for Airsoft. They're very durable, and something that is kind of overlooked when it comes to these devices is the ability to record footage. You don't have to buy anything extra, it's just good to go out of the box. When playing, all I have to do is hit record and it's set for the whole match, and the footage looks really nice and the audio is decent. So for me, this kind of doubles as a night vision device and a night vision action camera. So again, overall, both of these devices are great. I think the NVG50 is the best digital night vision device in this price range, but you can't go wrong with either of them. And keep an eye out for that nighttime gameplay that will hopefully be coming in a few weeks if the weather gets better. And if you have any questions about either device, feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer. I want to give a massive thank you to Good Nite Gear for sending this unit out. I really appreciate it. And I want to give a massive thank you to all of you for watching. All of the support in the first video made this possible, so thank you so much. And I hope you all have a great day.